Alrighty, Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening somewhere. Well, the first part of the holidays has come, and it's going to be gone, I guess, in January 1st, basically. So what happens is that we will see more of I guess we'll see a market more in the sense of, kind of sideways, kind of stumbling. No, I don't. At least I don't think so. When it comes to the stock market, when it comes to you can see it. We have the dollar index up there this morning. Let's put that up. Make it bigger, more red dots, bigger. There it is. It just keeps on. Well, relatively firm, just a little down, nothing major, and we've talked about it on. I guess it was on the 24th. The ridiculousness of it all. And the Federal Reserve is now feeling the pain. They're being sued by some of the major banks on some of their decision-making process. It is so obvious that the Federal Reserve has lost its direction 100%. It has no clear path anymore of what it's trying to do and why it's trying to do it. Weird times, I guess you could say, more than anything else. Just weird times. And so now we wake up over the last 24 hours and the banks are suing. The major banks are suing the Federal Reserve for trying to pass some policies. It really comes down to is that, unfortunately, for a very long time, we have had a political party that's been running the country for, 90, 100 years, 110 years, something like that. The Democrat Party the Democrats lost the Civil War, but they won the federal government. That's what it came down to in the end. And so it just shows you how irresponsible it was to have that Civil War to begin with, because they got what they wanted one way or the other. And they took their pound of flesh, as they would say. And you got the Federal Reserve. It was the Democrats that put the Federal Reserve together that, took the power away from the population. And they kept on adding more agencies that are not constitutional. In other words, they're not allowed to make laws. Only the Congress, only the House of Representatives, the 425 Congress people can make law. And it has to be a majority, and the Senate has to pass it, and then the President has to sign it. And so, instead they've handed it over to independent agencies loaded with political people to take control of our economy. And we're seeing the major movement away from that. And that was why Mr. Trump won the election in a what you call a landslide when it came to the Electoral College. And he got the popular vote in a big way by 5, 6, 7 million, which was also a big number. And so it really, we're coming to the end of all this, I guess you could say, absurd socialist policies. We're coming to the end of it now. And it doesn't seem to be letting go. In other words, it's not just here for 2 years and then disappearing. It's going to be here for a long while. There's a lot of people who are fed up with the socialism. This John Maynard Keynes economics has been a disaster. And, when I saw somebody take some stats, they put them together. Before the Federal Reserve, for 200 plus years in the United States, we never had inflation the way we've had since they created the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is a tool for inflation, for irresponsible government. And so that's where we're at this point. We're at a point now where this is going to go away. Now you can see here this morning, there's the dollar index. And then if we go back and take a look at the 10-year bond, let's see what the 10-year bond looks like. Go like that. Slide all the way down. And look at the 10-year bond. As we showed you on Tuesday, the 10-year bond, let me just double check my sound too. Oh, I'm not even up yet. Let me get up on the screen. I haven't even checked the chat line. Sorry about that, traders. I'm going to be saying good morning to you in a few seconds. I'm cranking up the chat line. Let's see. Here we go. I have not tuned in myself. Come on, you can do this. You can do this. It's thinking away. So, where was I at? Oh, yes, we talked about it on Tuesday. And we showed you charts on Tuesday about the level of irresponsibility of the Federal Reserve, where, the interest rate charts themselves show where they went up a percentage point, and the Federal Reserve lowered the official rate. So the market is a point higher than what the official rate is. That's so the government can borrow more money. Again, how they can spend our money over and over again, pretending that it actually is productive, when in fact it's nowhere near as productive. It's not even close. We know how to spend our money our way. We don't need the government to tell us how to spend our money and how to live our lives. That's the big problem. And that's why we're moving away from that socialist thing where we think that the government knows what it's doing. It's like, no, we don't think you know what you're doing, and you're not even close. We got 36 trillion in debt. It's not the worst thing in the world. And we did put up a chart showing the debt to other countries compared to their GDP. And, the United States is not that far off the hunt. I mean, it's very small. I mean, we have a $27 trillion economy, and, we have a 36 in debt. So it's like you have $36,000 in debt, but you make $27,000 a year. Okay, you should be able to pay that debt off, on a credit card line, over 3 or 4 years. Whereas we see in some countries, especially the ones that have currency. Let's see if we can find it here. There we go. Where do we go from here? Maybe I should do it on there itself. I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see if we can find it here. There's the 10-year. Let's check that out. There's the 10-year. We got the 10-year up there now. And you can see here, we're making new lows, going lower. Our yield today, is that today? That's today. So the yield's even lower than Tuesday. So we've seen like the 10-year. Let's get that back up on the screen. The interest rate itself. Let's see, you go like this, we go like that, and we go like that. There it is right there. Here's the bonds. And you're going to see, and there's the 10-year. And the yield is at 4.629. Okay. And you can see they lowered interest rates. Before they started lowering interest rates were low. Right there. Let's see if we can make this bigger. Can we make that bigger? Like that. You see right there. Before they started this September lowering of interest rates, pretending that they were doing something positive instead of just something for the government. That's what they were doing it for the government. There's the lowering of the interest rate at a 0.5 percentage point. At the time, the yield that day was 3.62. The low that day was 3.618. So they lowered it was trading basically a full point below in the market. Interest rates were a full point below the official rate. Now they are a full point above the official rate. They've basically gone up. As you can see right there, the yield is 4.62, and now the government official rate is 4.25 versus 5.25. So they've really messed up. I mean, and unfortunately, if you're not paying attention to Doc or some of the news sources that I suggest, in the end result is that no one really out there talks about it. They say nothing. They pretend that all is good because, again, we're getting rid of the socialists. They're going to be gone soon. This story is going to go away. The lying and the dishonesty by the national media over and over since the Democrats owned the national media. They actually physically own them. So, you can't get through that wall of of spin, the wall of political spin. I mean, I heard somebody this morning. It was really funny. Sad, funny, but funny. They were saying, well, they're trying. Biden is telling everybody that inflation is only at 2.7%. But when you go and look at the insurances and fuel and everything else just for this year alone, the inflation's up around 6-7%. He says, and no matter how much they lie to the public is finally seeing through it because they have to put that money out of their pocket, and they have to spend it, to survive, to get food and so forth, and pay insurances and real estate and all of that, But they sit there and they lie to the national media and the government lie to the population. And here we are taking money out of our pockets, spending it because, it has to be done. We need insurance for owning mortgages and so forth. Just all that mechanics. And in the inflation, remember they pulled under Mr. Obama, the president basically removed from the Bureau of Labor Statistics a lot of data. In other words, they don't count it as inflation anymore. They tried to hide the inflation number, and so they can say one thing. Oh, look at that! The inflation's only 2.5. Don't worry about it. It's easy peasy. But when people are putting out 5, 6, or 7% more a year, they're going like, wait a minute, where's that 2.5%? I'm not putting $2.5 more out. I'm putting $6 out. And if it's on 1,000, I'm putting out $60 versus, $20. And if it's on 10,000, it's $600. And there's a big difference between $600 and $200. We know that. We know there's a big difference, and big difference between $6,000 and $2,000 on even more expensive things. So, in the end, that story, I was really surprised to hear these people say it. Look at that; it's jumped up to 4.631 as we're speaking. It's going up. The interest rates are rising as we even talk. And they said, boy, I guess he should have been more honest with the. Him and Kamala should have been more honest with the in the campaign about the inflation. They should have said, "Hey, we see it's big. We see that it's giving everybody problems, and we're going to work finally to do something about it because we didn't understand it and we're sorry." If they had said that, they would have gotten more votes. I can guarantee you that, because Americans are forgiving. They are forgiving, and so that's where we are now. So this is the interest rate right there. Interest rates were at 3.62 before they started cutting the full 1 percentage point. That day they went to a half, and look what happened. They lowered it a half, and it went up. Was that 4.3? Went up 3/4. Then they tried to back it off a little bit, because there was talk of not raising the November number because of the inflation. And no, the Fed basically said, "Oh no, we're stupid. We can't get more stupid than we already are. Oh, hell, we're going to lower interest rates another 1/4 percentage point." And look at that. They've lowered them another quarter, and it went from 4.15 to you see it trading right now at 4.63, which is what, 38. So to drop it a quarter, the market raised it 0.38. So they dropped it 0.25, and the market said, no, this is irresponsible banking. Irresponsible, central banking, totally. And so there it is. It is now trading from a low of 459? There it is. The 359, from 359, it's going up to 463. So it's up 104. Interest rates have gone up, and the price of the bond for official government spending has dropped. So it's cheaper for the politicians to spend more money. That's what it comes down to. It's cheaper. So in other words, they're borrowing at 4.25 and spending it, and then when they have to go pay it back, it's higher. So, all right, we're done. That was it. That's enough. I don't need to torture myself, but just due to the fact that today the Federal Reserve is now being sued by all the major banks, it came back into the conversation again. Every time stuff like that pops out, we've got to basically say, are they kidding me? How stupid can they be? Type of thing, All right. From there, we get rid of the bond yield because we've beaten that like a rented mule down in what do you call it? Death Valley. That's the expression. All right, let's go over and take a look at the euro. Right there. Boy, they flatlined that. Where do you see this? What a flat line. Look at that, how tight it is. Trying to go back into the sell again. Still in the weekly sell. We got the end of the week. Still, we got tomorrow. We're waiting for the fun to, go, the fun to be over with. But it doesn't look like it's going to until Mr. Trump gets fully in control of that office and gets rid of this stupidity. All right, and then from the euro, you can see that right there, where it's really flatlining. It's still trying to lift right there. Let's take a look at cable. There's cable. Same situation. It went into the daily buy on the 24th, and it's trying to go back into the sell today. It's still in a weekly sell. There's pressure on that product still. What else can we say about any of that, really? It's all the same game, just a different day, basically. We're not expecting too much over the next couple days. We'll see how they play it out. We had a good ho-ho rally on Monday afternoon and Tuesday. It was really nice, even with that short day. We had a ho-ho rally. They took them up. It's nice. Let's take a look at the... where is it at? Right there. There is the Swiss inflation and fighters. See how it's parked on that resistance up there. This is the support down here, the blue dotted lines. There's the resistance. It seems to have parked itself right on it. We've had that up there for a couple of weeks now. I played with the bottom end of it, and now it's playing with the top end of it. We'll see what they come up with when it comes to how they're going to deal with the slow, steady burn of the inflation stuff. Because at this point, it gets worse and worse because they lowered it 1%, and it really should have never been lowered at all. I could have seen them do a quarter just to be like, well, we promised you a year ago 7 times, but here's 1. We'll give you 1 now, and we'll see after the election. Maybe the inflation wouldn't be kicking up as strongly if they had just held to what they said they were going to do responsibly, and instead they just shoot from the hip. Everybody knows they're not supposed to be raising or lowering rates at this point, but no, they have to shoot from the hip, constantly play this game and pretend that we, just don't know what we're talking about. That's the worst part about it. They like to pretend we don't know what we're talking about. But they do. All right, from there we'll go over to the yen. Now I saw the stock indices lifting up, probably for the Santa Claus rally. Let me go see. Let's see if we can put that up on there. There is the yen. It's kind of climbed over the top of the box. We'll see if that's where it's going to sit and rest, or if it's going to basically keep on lifting. And you can see here they ran that up on. Here's the Nikkei. Right there. There's a Nikkei. They made a nice push on the upside. There, it looks like it's trying to still go into the sell though. So it's in a daily buy and a weekly sell. It looks like. So this is going to be very close. We'll see how they trade it. Hello, Robin. How you doing? All good there? Do. See where the Federal Reserve is getting sued by the major banks like Goldman Sachs and so forth. The Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, Chase. They're getting sued by all the Wells Fargo. The major banks are suing them for trying to pass. Easy. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, they deserve suing. They need to shut that thing down. All right. From there, we'll go over to. Let's take a look at the Turkish lira. Right there. Kind of flatlining the same way the euro is, and look at that, it's pushing into the back into the sell again. But that weekly buy looks pretty good. If it holds here, we will be closing in a weekly buy for the first time in that one and ran for, what was that? What's it say on the spreadsheet? Let's go back to the spreadsheet there. There it is, right there. So it's 13 weeks in a sell. Looks like it's going to climb into the buy. That'll be interesting. That will be interesting. I'm just happy with it just staying slow and steady. You know, give the population some breathing space. All right, and then from there we go to South Africa. See what they're up to this morning. Ooh, a high this morning and then backing off a little bit. Let's take a last I looked at the gold. It was still in a buy, sideways, but still in a buy. They don't want to let the metals go away, that's for sure. And let's show you that. And there it is right there. Oh no, we got the wrong one. Let's go show you that. Oh, you didn't see the other two things. Let's do that again. Let's go back to. And so let's just show you the South African, the Turkish lira. Just kind of sideways like the euro, but it's pushing down into the sell, and we've got this thing trying to climb into the weekly there. And then we go back over to the South African rand. You see, it's been climbing up, and we're just happy not to see gold or silver get too beat up from it. That's the good thing right there. Let's make that like that and make it really thin, thinnerish like that. So you see there, as this goes up, usually gold goes down. Let's save that, and then what we'll do is we'll go over to gold. There it is right there. There's the gold. It's been sideways like the way the euro is. I'm showing strength though, but look at that. The algorithm is pushed. The daily algorithm is trying to push under. We got a green and a red, and we are pushing hard into the sell side, which is a little surprising there. It's been that way all week long. It's been underneath, and luckily we haven't gotten any sell signals. If we'd gotten a sell signal, kind of want to get short. I mean, that's what that's screaming and telling us. Looking at silver. There's silver. Silver in a buy, also pushing up, but not anything with any great fanfare. It seems to be locked around the $30 area, and at the same time, it's still was that right underneath the gold, right? Where's it at? Let's scroll it. Right there. So you see there, gold. 1 week in a buy, and then and now it's pushing into the sell in 3 days in a buy, and then you can see there silver 7 days, 7 weeks in a sell, and 2 days in a buy. Now it's trying to perk up there, so we keep on pushing, and we will see. All right, now from there we go over to copper. Copper was one of those. When I say copper, I think China, and you can see it's been in a daily buy for 4 days. You see it right there. 8 weeks in a sell. See, it's been in that sell. It's very close to get into the buy, and at the same time, 2 days in a buy. And this is going on the. Well, actually, it's a 3 days in a buy now. So this should be going on a 4th. So this should be a 3, not a 2, right there. There we go. What was I? Oh, I know what I was getting ready to say. I was getting ready to talk about that debt load. The unfortunately with China, it's hard to tell exactly, because they're fixed to the dollar. So I mean their currency is locked so much more tightly. Where it should be trading much wider. But let me see if we can find that picture. We should save that picture where I don't even have to go search it out. Let's see. That's neat. Let's see. That's not it. Oh, there we are. How cute. All right. From there, let's go over to. Let's go find that. I want to find that chart that they showed us. We'll find it in a few seconds. Lots of posts. Let's see. And we're getting closer. I think it was about 3 days ago. It was a really interesting article. I'm glad we saved it. Let's see, where's it at? China issued. Oh yeah. Oh, here's something. Well, I didn't. Let me put that up there too. There it is. China issued a record 3 trillion won in special treasury bonds to boost the economy. They don't have the cash, I guess. We know that they need about let me think. What is it? 25, anywhere from 25 to 30 trillion in won, which comes out to be like $5 billion, basically. So that's what they need. They need to perk up their economy. So far, they haven't put out. Let's see, what's that say? 3 trillion in won. So 3 trillion, that'd be 6 trillion. That's almost a $1 billion. That's only 20% of what they need to put out to stimulate their economy. So that's part of the issue. Here it is. I got it now. There we go. There we go. All right. Now, what do I want to do? I want to take both of these, move that down like that down like that, and get rid of that like that, and we'll go minimize that. And then we're going to show you some of the things we're talking about here. So like this. This is what happens when I see copper. I think of China. And when there's that makes me think about the stories I see. Because I'm not, close, here it is. Okay, so I guess this is the one that we talked about on Monday. Let's show you this one. Let's move you over to it. Now this is all because we're looking at copper, and copper, this is after the election. So copper's come down from the 455 area down to basically the 405 area. It's dropped pretty dramatically. So here is what we're talking about. There's the first part. China's GDP is now lagging the rest of Asia. And we can put that up on the chart. And so let's see, it says average per capita GDP growth. That right there alone. Now, I think I found another one. I just realized there's a third one that shows the world debt. That's what it is. So let me see if I can find that one too, because it shows you relative to the rest of the world how much debt China is, how all the countries are, United States, so forth. It shows you the debt level. And it's well worth looking at. It just shows you the weakness that we keep on seeing, but you don't hear it from the media. Again, our socialists here need China to be number one. They need it to be number one. If it's not number one, then they're in trouble. Because they're used to spinning politically, that type of thing. Not reality. They're not into reality. They're into political spin. So, but there's the weakness, just in general, right there. So now I minimize that, and we go over to here. This is what was out in the news yesterday. China to issue a record 3 trillion won in special treasury bonds to boost economy, which says we know that they have $1 trillion parked in U.S. government bonds in the United States. They don't want to, as much as they say strange things about not buying them ever again or doing this or that. They don't seem to want to sell them. Also, they're loading up on gold. That seems to be the underlining strength that we're seeing in gold. They're buying, they may be in many ways floating these bonds to buy more gold, because the official purchase of gold in China is like It's a tenth of what they've actually been found buying. That's the amazing part. So they claim officially they're only like buying, say, 2,000 tons of, or or 2 tons of gold. Instead, they've bought like 20 tons of gold. They're in other words they're in the year, just in 1 year. So they're trying to hide the amount of gold they buy. I don't know if it's a parachute or what. Green mail. I don't know. You can use all the old names for it. And then you see here that they're doing that to try to perk up the economy. They figure they're going to be. Here it is. It says here, bond market convinced Beijing about to unleash mother of all monetary stimulus and QE commodities, and so far unaware. Okay. So overnight, Reuters reported that China's authorities have agreed to issue that's only $400 billion. They need 25 to 30 trillion to pump up their economy, not 3 trillion or 6. Now they're up to that. If you take this 3 trillion and you take the other 3 trillion that they've broken out, that's 6 trillion. They're still like 21 trillion away from being efficient at stimulating the economy. It says here the plan of 2025 sovereign debt issuance would be a 200% increase from this year's 1 trillion won. So they've basically this year they floated just 1 trillion total. Now coming into 25 they're going to float 3 trillion. That's still way too small. I keep on reminding people that. And that's probably like, I guess because of that offer. Let's see if we can show you that. Let's go over, take a look at the yuan itself, the Shanghai market itself. So we go here. Let's take a look at the Shanghai market, and it's up like the way Hong Kong was up. Let's see, where's it at? Right there. You can see it. It's firm. It's not as explosive, but it is firm. It's up a little bit here. From the day before. So you see that strength there. But you notice that it's nowhere near the sugar high of when they claimed they were going to do it. Everybody thought, oh my God, they're going to spend 20 trillion or 25 trillion won. Yeah, and they ran the markets up. They exploded way up. And now we're sitting in a situation where it is stuck in that range. It can't get out of that range. So the market itself, let me just show it to you. Let's see if I go like this and copy that like that, and then we'll put that up on a bigger screen and show you how it stands. In other words, how it's not doing what people were hoping for. There we go. There it is. Is that right? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let's go to 6 months. So they came out, made that announcement in here somewhere that they were going to stimulate the economy. And you can see it's just trapped in that range. It's in the middle of it. In other words, it's not really going, made another high, failed at a high, hasn't taken out this low here. And so what we're seeing is, let me just double check it right there. Yeah, that's it. So what's happening is that they're not really getting any real traction. So we're not going to see another one of these spikes. They're going to have to spend at least another 15 trillion won, besides the 6 that they're going to do, to basically get that thing to start to jump, to get it to move on the upside. Because right now, it's not really doesn't have any heart in it. It has no desire whatsoever to climb into that, get into that action. Let me see if I can find the debt one. I'll bring that over to you in a few seconds. We'll get there. And I think I should take pictures of these things, and we can pull them out and discuss them when we see other action from the official China government, Beijing. So we'll get there. We're very close. Let's see. There it is right there. go. And we'll kill that. We'll minimize it, that's for sure. So there is the United States at 34, and China's at 16. What's it say there? It says with over 36 trillion in government debt. This is America. U.S. debt is more than double the next highest country. Okay, great, China. And then it says China's government debt is debt as a percentage of GDP stands at 90%, up from 40% a decade ago. So 90%. So they're not they say it's GDP, but we're not really sure that notice they don't put the GDP number in because they're not sure what the GDP is, and they know what the U.S. GDP is because it's an active currency, so we can tell. But we don't know what the Chinese, in other words, they say their GDP is at 20,000 or 14, I don't know, something like that, 15 trillion, something like that. But we don't believe it, and why don't we believe it, traders? Because they keep on declaring bankruptcy and not being able to pony up $200 million or not $2 billion. $200 million, $250 million to get out of bankruptcy. So the whole real estate market has collapsed in China. They don't even have enough money to get it out of debt. So, I mean, this is not a way of showing that you're strong economically. Let's put it that way. So I'm going to minimize that now. And that's what the problem is they try to tell you two different stories and try to make it look like something's equal there, And so that's just what it is. So back to, you can see here the index actually is trying to get into a weekly sell. We'll see how it finishes the week off there. This is the Shanghai. All right. So from there, we go back over to the metals, finish off with platinum. There's the platinum. You see copper there. That's a nice pop, when you really think about it. That's not bad at all. I mean, they really reached up for it. I guess that's because of the bonds being floated. So they probably thought, well, some of that stimulus money will come in the copper, so they bought a little copper there today. There's the platinum. It's 4 days in a buy. Still in a weekly sell. Still in a weekly sell there. Yep, right there is a weekly sell. So we see the fast is getting through, but the slow is not. We'll see what they do next week. It's not this week's business. It's next week's business at this point. And we'll be going into the first week of the year next week also, too, at the same time, Thursday and Friday. So that'll be very interesting. Everybody watches the first 5 days of the new year. And then from there, we shoot over to the energy sector. So let's take a look at Brent. See where Brent is. Brent. BZ. Right there. BZ. We'll find it. BZ. There it is, right there. So there's Brent, firm. You see, it's up in a buy for a couple days. You see, it's in a weekly buy for 4 weeks, right there. You see over on the spreadsheet, West Texas is only in a buy 1 week. And let's go see what it looks like on the screen. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 120, guess we can get rid of that heating oil too, can't we? Bang. Go on. Like that. There we are. And there is February crude oil. Okay, going on a second week. Interesting. Oh, you know what? There it is too. So what we saw is we were in a weekly buy 4 weeks back, fell back into the sell, back into the buy again, and is still in the buy. So going on a second week. And you can see here, that's why, back here it went into the weekly buy for a little bit for this little pop. Basically right in here somewhere. That was in a weekly buy, and it started to climb. And now it's bouncing around back into a sell, back into a buy, and then this week right here it was in a buy. And so, but it had red dots, so you had to wait a little bit. Now you can get long. We'll see how it goes. And let's see, where else are we on this thing? Let's go check out heating oil. This is the refined product from Brent and West Texas crude, that type of thing. And heating oil powers all the planes and the big trucks on the highways, and it heats houses. That's why we call it heating oil. So you can see here, that's the kerosene and so forth. And kerosene feeds the big airplanes up in the sky. And so you see there is a second week also in a buy. It's trying to stay in the buy, but notice it went into a sell right there on the 24th. And still on that now, but we're in weekly buys and a daily sell. We just need to see the histogram get back into the plus side there to get into the long. From there we shoot over to natural gas. Where's the nat gas? There it is right there. Natural gas, feeling a little pain here this morning, just pushing it down. Notice it's pushing into the sell too. So we're heading into a daily sell. At the same time, we are on a second week in a weekly buy. So it's kind of stuck in neutral. No doubt, times are going to be different in 26 days. I think it's 26 days now for Mr. Trump to take office, and I can imagine that they will be legalizing the sale of natural gas and crude to Europe. Remember, for some reason, Mr. Biden, about 4 or 5 months ago, blocked sales on an executive order. And sometimes unfortunately, what we know about Mr. Biden, he's really not in power. It's really odd. So the media and the White House has been lying to us about Mr. Biden now. That's what came out on the Friday Wall Street Journal story. Where he doesn't really talk to anybody particular much. In other words, if he's talked to like the Secretary of Treasury maybe 3 times in the whole year, maybe 2. I think they say 2 times actually. Things like that. I mean, it's not normal for a president to be so disconnected. He's just not healthy. He's been a pawn or a puppet, for the party now for 4 years. So the reason why you see such a calamity is that basically the Democrat Party has been running the White House for like the last 4 years. That's why they're letting out all these criminals. That's why they're allowing criminals into the country. Let criminals out. Let them walk the streets and terrify the population, I guess. That's strange but true. And weird. When you say it out loud, it sounds strange, But it is real. It's real. They, a couple, something like 10 million illegal aliens that are criminals are on the streets today. They've allowed them. They've flown them into the United States illegally. That's the weirder part. You can't make this stuff up. That's the amazing thing. Someone would hear me saying that right now. Oh, no, that's not true. It's like, yeah, it's true. They've been flying illegal aliens with an application. They go up on the web, file for an application, and they can be flown into the United States, especially if you're a criminal. They like that. They want disruption, I guess. They want chaos. It's a very strange thing. And the Justice Department doesn't have any ability to do anything because they're in support of the policy of letting criminals on the street. Weird. Very, very weird. Extremely weird. All right. So from natural gas, we'll shift over to... Oh, there's natural gas. Let's see again. Right there. So natural gas is trying to turn down. And, let's see, where's it at? We showed you the Brent. We showed you West Texas. It is something that Brent, there's West Texas, it's barely in a buy. It's been in a weekly buy for one full whole week. That's it. It's gone in and out the last 4 weeks, where when we do look at Brent, as we did a few minutes ago, let's find the Brent again. It's near the Xerox. There it is right there. Let's give it a recycle. And there it is. There's the Brent, and it's been solid, for 4 weeks now. It's stayed in a buy. So it's been in that buy since back in here. Whereas, we went into the buy like around here with the Brent, and the West Texas, and it's just finally now, last 2 days, in a daily buy. It's been neutral for, like 3 or 4 days. Right there we are. Yeah, it's basically, it's been in a sell all the way up until just right there, really. But, it's so finally we're back into a buy again on the 24th, and obviously it's up. So finally got it. We're in neutral throughout this. So, where we go from here? Let's jump over to, let's see. Let's go to, we've seen natural gas. Let's go down to Spain. They were knocking that stock down, the energy company down in Spain. That's the ENG.MC. ENG.MC right there. There we go. You see, they slammed it. They're not trading it yet. They haven't started trading today. Spain might be closed still. We talked about that on Tuesday, where Europe used to be closed for like 10 days. As soon as Christmas came, we didn't see the market open up again until after New Year's. Spain might be following in some of those old footsteps. So you see right there where it's just hanging out. It's just been a good push down, which is what we cheer for. We want to see this price go down. Price goes down means the energy price goes down in Europe. Anything to make life better for people, be it Turkey or Europe or wherever, China, name it. I'd rather see populations do better than what the government does to them. Let's put it that way. Gold's up $11 today, and that is something. Let me go back to gold. Let's take a look at gold look at it on the beta. It's right up in here somewhere. There it is, right there. It's been in a daily buy for 4 days now, and it's in the weekly buy. So it's really pressuring. We've seen, see all those red dots. And then we look at the South African Rand and see the South African Rand. Let me just show it to you again. South African Rand keeps on going up, which is losing against the dollar, which says, ooh, something's wrong here. You can see that push up right there. Look at that South African Rand going up. When it goes up, normally gold goes down. But in this case, we're seeing, gold was going down. Let's just show it to you again. During that move, you can see it. And then the last 4 days, it's just turned around. It was going down. Rand was climbing up. Made sense. And then on just these last, 4 days, it went into a daily buy here because our histogram is plus. Right there. So we were plus It was a green dot, and that put it into a buy. Now we've been in a buy still because the histogram is plus, but the dots are red, so it doesn't change it. The only thing that would change it is the weekly. So, or if the dropped below the histogram like this and was red dots like that, then obviously it would be in a sell again. That's all. It's all mechanical. We're all mechanical here. The rules stand. They always stand. They are what they are. All right. Now from that completes the energy. So we can go take a look at. We saw what Shanghai's doing. Shanghai's kind of stumbling along. Let's see what it says. Let's take a look at. Let's go to, where is that? Oh, it's over here. So it's this screen right here. Let's take a look at Taiwan. See if there's any, and we'll look at the Singapore Strait Times too. See if there's any hint to action, that's going on. So there is, there's Singapore. Let's see what Singapore is up to. They had been pushing down. It's doing the same as gold. It's starting to lift up. Without a doubt, I would assume that they had a general idea that they were going to float $3 trillion worth of yuan. So that's why it's probably in the daily buy. But we're in a weekly sell, so it's not going to be the sugar high that we got back in, somewhere's back in here. That sugar high is gone because they don't have enough money to stimulate their economy. But as long as people keep on saying it, it'll it's all right. But here we will tell you the truth. There you go. There's Abdul. How you doing, Abdul? Welcome to you too. The story pretty much is that gold is much more firm than we were expecting, and we're seeing a little weakness. We're still seeing weakness in the bond and in the bonds. The bonds, the interest rate has gone up 1 and basically an eighth since the Federal Reserve lowered it officially from 5.5 to 4.5. So the bonds have gone up, which is really kind of odd and funny. In other words, the 10-year bond now is yielding 4.63, and the official government bond itself, official price is 4.25, and so they've lowered interest rates a full percentage point, quarter, and it's done the opposite. They cannot get this interest rates moving. Let's see, bro. Kindly see Bitcoin Cash. Oh, let's take a look at it. Excuse me. Oh, not there. Bitcoin Cash. Bitty. All right, let's see where we were at here. Bitty. BT BIT-CO something. Let's see. There it is, right there. Here it comes. Last I saw it was 93 or something like that. Oh, 95. It's back up a little bit more from Monday and Tuesday. There's Monday. Monday was down to 92.4. It's climbed back up on Christmas Eve. They climbed back up to 98 and change, 99 almost. And it's doing fine. It's the second week in a weekly sell, so we're feeling the pressure. You can see that there. Put that up on the screen there. We're seeing that pressure. It's the second week in a weekly sell, so there's pressure on the product. But it's had a great run, so what else can you ask for, Wishing what were you wishing for? Wait a minute. What were you, Bitcoin Cash recently been wishing it was. Wishing it was what? Up more or down more? Are you long it or are you short it? I imagine you're long it. Just a simple guess. It's doubled in price over the last 2 months. So, is it doubled the price? No. Well, you can see here in the middle of October it was trading at 60,000, Now it's going to 108,000, so it's not doubled, but close. It's that's 48,000 versus 60,000. So I mean that's pretty aggressive. I would imagine, we were in a weekly buy a long time. Matter of fact, what do we have up on there now? Yeah, we're 10 weeks in a weekly buy. We're flirting with the weekly sell when it comes to like the futures contract. Oh, sorry, watching it. Oh, just watching it. Yeah. Well, it's doing what it's doing. It's doing what the math is saying it wants to do, and that is that they're trying to digest that massive move. That's how that usually works. They gotta, let it smooth out. We got up to like 102 or something like that a couple days ago, didn't we? Last week. See, here's last week. So is that Monday? Let's see, where's Monday? So that's the end of last week. 2 weeks ago, not last week. There is last Friday. Okay. Remember, this is a 7-day product. So every day there's a trade in this thing. So back on the 17th, which is 9 days ago, it was up at 108,000. Coming up from 60,000. That's a big move. It needs to digest now. It needs to get comfortable with itself. So there you go. All right, traders, we've had enough fun. We got to put a title up on this thing. Let's come up with some title here. So let's see, what do we got here? Come up with a title. So, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a safe and a smart trading day. Catch you all tomorrow. Same time, same channel. Ta-ta for now.